Now, it's all very well and good working from home and having the flexibility that that brings to you in your lifestyle, but the fact of the matter is, for some people, it can get very, very lonely indeed. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing my top tips to be able to beat that isolation feeling, that loneliness, so that you can not only be super productive, but also actually enjoy working at home. Hey, it's Chris here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around because there's some good stuff coming your way on a regular basis. Now, if you're like a lot of people right now, you have just started working from home. And for a lot of people, it's actually very, very new. For people like myself who have been self-isolating for years and years, there's not a lot of difference involved when it comes to our day-to-day lives currently, other than the fact, obviously, that we're kind of cooped up into the house full time. However, for those that maybe have just started working at home very, very recently, and they're starting to struggle with that isolation and that feeling of loneliness, it can be a real issue. However, today I'm going to be sharing my top tips with you to ultimately help you break through that loneliness barrier, because it doesn't need to be the way that you might be experiencing things right now. Now, I'm going to go above and beyond the normal kind of hang out with your friends on social media thing. A lot of people talk about that, but I actually want to get a little bit more specific with tactics, with strategies that you can take on board when it comes to curing that loneliness and ultimately becoming more of a social person, even when you're working at home. I will say, however, though, with a caveat to that, that social media recently has actually started to feel quite social. Again, I don't know whether you've noticed it, but I certainly have for sure. The fact is, actually, we're starting to have real conversations on social media again, and I don't know about you, but I really like what I'm seeing. Today, however, I'm going to give you those top tips to cure that loneliness while working at home. So tip number one, if you're like lots of people building businesses online nowadays, you're also building a tribe. You're building a community of people, and that's exactly what you should do to future-proof your business. And if you're not already going live, like I have been on a very regular basis over the last few weeks, if you're not already going live to serve that tribe, to show up for that community, I absolutely suggest that you start doing so. Whether it's quick handheld things with your phone on Instagram or Twitter, or slightly more structured Facebook Lives, the fact of the matter is getting in front of your community right now and being that guide that leads people through maybe a bit of a tough time for a lot of people is going to be a good thing for you and your business when things die down. So that's tip number one. Start going live more so than ever before to show up for your community. Tip number two, if you're a boss like me, then now's the time to actually step up any level of virtual meetings that you might already do. In fact, actually, a lot of businesses never have virtual meetings, believe it or not, even now in 2020 and beyond. They're still doing everything in person. And obviously, those employees and those team members are going to be reeling right now, worrying about not only what's happening in the world, but more importantly to them, what's happening with their jobs. So get those remote workers, those virtual team members together more so now than ever before. Get them onto Zoom video conference calls or Skype calls, or possibly just going back and forth with a little bit more water cooler fun conversations via Slack or whatever project management system you might use than you have done before in the past. The fact is, people need to be more social now than ever. So it's important for you to lean into the technology that's right there for the taking to make things a little easier for yourself. And my third tip is to take advantage of the flexibility that working from home brings. Now, I know that every now and then we can get hunkered down at our desk and we're looking through our to-do list and we're thinking, I need to get this done, I need to get this done, I need to get this done. But the fact is, if you work at home, you do have the flexibility to walk away from that desk, to get out into the garden, maybe even to go for a little bit of a walk around the neighborhood, even if it's just on your own, to cure that loneliness, to kind of cure that feeling of being secluded and isolated. I don't don't know about you, but I love to walk just around my garden, just around my property, even whether it's with my dog or with one of my kids or just on my own. It's just something about being in the fresh air, seeing the birds, seeing the trees and all that fun nature stuff that does cure a lot of the loneliness that I might feel on a regular basis working from home as well. And lastly, my final tip is to make plans for when you're done with work. Much like you could potentially maybe go to the local bar to grab a cocktail with a work colleague when you're working in the office, when you're working remotely, what's stopping you doing that anyway? In the last week, I've had at least 2 or 3 virtual coffees or scotches with friends, completely unrelated, via Skype or Zoom, where I've just sat down and caught up with them and find out exactly what they're doing and how they're handling things. Really, honestly, there's nothing stopping you just putting something on the calendar, even if it's just with the kids, and say, you know what, let's switch on Disney Plus and check out that Lion King movie that everyone's been raving about. Whatever it is, get something on the schedule, something to look forward to with those that you love and care for, and then go ahead and make it happen at the end of your workday. I hope today's video has proven helpful to you in some way, shape or form. Please be sure to comment below and let me know what your biggest takeaway was, and if there's something that you do while working at home to cure your own loneliness, share it with the community right here, because nobody has a monopoly on good ideas. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.